All right, I guess maybe I just needed to be rebooted. What I missed?
Well, Steve's here.
I showed up. I scrambled and showed up.
Yeah, thanks very much. That's awesome. You guys got the thing going.
No worries. Yeah. All good. How you guys doing? How's what did I miss? I've been sitting in the I don't know, the
warm Calistoga sun.
Yeah, exactly. Indian Springs, Calistoga, just in the mineral water for the past few days.
What is that song? That's a lyric from a song.
Oh, in the warm California sun.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz Boardwalk.
Oh, the Santa Cruz Boardwalk. Man, I feel Californian now. Like that Santa Cruz Boardwalk thing is in my head.
Well, it blew my mind, Larry, that you got the same TV show Steve and I got on the East Coast because of like the way cable worked for you.
Wait, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk?
Well, no, because I'm thinking of like back in the day, like
right. I get what you're saying. Like I watched WPIX at 6 just like you guys did, right?
Yeah.
That
beautiful kind of Mount Airy Lodge. Like
Mount Airy Lodge.
Oh my God. You guys are gonna make even today I hear the Genessean is believing ad in my head.
It's
and then, of course, crazy Eddie, his prices are insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Crazy.
And then that guy's like real life. Like that's amazing. Yeah. I think it's cool that we watch the same TV just because the greater metropolitan New York area just owned all of that, upstate New York and Vermont.
Yeah. Especially Mount Airy is Poconos. At beautiful Mount Airy Lodge, all you have to bring.
I feel like I got every vaudeville joke.
Is your love of everything?
Love it. Yeah.
I had to sing the whole thing in my head. I was like,
I know. Once you said Mount Airy Lodge, I was like, oh, it just started playing. Anyway.
That has to be the one with the big heart-shaped beds in the Poconos.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's in the Poconos. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but there was always a competing one to Mount Airy Lodge. This was like, if you still remembered who, Mel Torme was. You're pinching your pennies, and that was the one you went to. Yeah, there you go.
Wow,
it's almost like I could redraw that ad.
The saddest part is I've never been to Mount Airy Lodge. I feel depressed now.
I have never felt the urge to go to Mount Airy Lodge. I have been through the Poconos on my way from here to there, and we all had a big laugh about it. Hey, look, it's the Poconos. On the green sign that goes by. Hey, so do you dig this hat? Mimi says there's nothing on it. It's just a piece of,
perfect.
It's a piece of Velcro. And she says, why don't you just get a blank hat? Why did you have to spend $25 for this specific operator hat? And I was like, because I want everyone to know that I could have something on here if I felt like it.
Right.
This isn't just some, I'm Captain America trying to blend in with the regular people. This is a Larry hat.
Is that on that website you showed us with all the cool cyberpunk stuff?
Oh yeah. Fabric of the Universe.
That's what it was. Yes, is that from its?
Nah, it's just an operator hat. I think it's probably from Major Surplus, which I initially went there because I love their name and their logo. It's just like stenciled military Major Surplus with a little I guess it's like a sergeant's chevron now that I think of it. It's not the major.
It's not a major?
It's not a major leaf.
Oh, interesting.
I'll have to go look at that. That might just be my old man brain going, well, I know it's green and yellow, and that's isn't that whatever. Anyway, I get their paper catalog now, which I just fucking love. I love that
they actually do a paper catalog.
Yeah, and Cotswold Collectibles. If Sagasag is here, he'll back me up on this. They're the guys that do all that. I got the cool, G.I. Joe sized Santa Claus. They do all the cool G.I. Joe stuff. And man, it's like anything. It's like, I went to see, some cool movie about the Boer War and Afrikaan and fucking Mel Gibson was in it. I want that entire costume for me to wear, but that's prohibitively expensive. Maybe I can get a G.I. Joe size one. And it's exact, but it's like $450. And they do a brisk trade in them. It's like super specific, British infantry guy. And $500 with shipping? Yeah, okay, that sounds reasonable. Chris has probably got 3 of them. Anyway, I like getting paper catalogs in the mail. Maybe it's because, in college, that's how we had stuff. Was our Victoria's Secret and international mail catalogs, depending on, what team you were on. But we had a selection for everyone on our top of our toilet.
We took all kinds.
If you couldn't find something to pass the time in the Victoria's Secret catalog or the International Mail catalog, handsome, pretty people, very good marketing copy, fine products. If you can't pass the time in there looking at a stack of those things, I don't know what I can do for you.
God, imagine how many people used to work for that department. It is now completely gone.
It's gone.
It's like doesn't even exist, right?
Yeah, I mean, models are gone, right? That's AI
True.
now.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there and look at 17 fingers, but, that's not what people look at pretty girls for.
I had a meeting today that was for a adult product, and the woman on the cover of the box was AI generated, and when you scanned the QR code, it took you to her gallery of just all photos of her, but all AI generated.
Oh, man.
I was like, well, that's where it is, huh?
That's where it is, man.
I guess, at that point, what's it matter, right? I'm watching this cool show called Flaked. It's Will Arnett as a guy who's trying to...
What's it called? Flaked?
Yeah, he's trying to... He's in the program and trying to make amends and stuff. But he is a deeply fucked up evil guy and just has learned the patter. And so the first season is crazy. You buy into it, ups and downs. And then the second season, the big reveal is he's fucked up and he knows how he's controlling everyone. And it's like, I kind of stopped watching it. It's like, I don't need to know what happens if you don't quit drinking. So, but anyway, it's a really cool show. I don't know. I forget, but I don't know. They had a thing about...
It's Netflix.
We talk about and sex toys and stuff like that. And there's a B story. One of the characters has a locked closet door in his house, and it's revealed like in 17 or 18 episodes that's his $10,000 sex toy. And there's a little B story that like one of them finds it, and then they're sharing a girl. It's deeply fucked up, but hilariously funny. Anyway.
I've heard
I went down
sharing
that trail.
fleshlights, and that's a thing I will never unhear.
What was that? What was that?
Like a college guy sharing fleshlights.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah,
how that? No.
It seems like at college you'd be doing that anyway. I just mean
Yeah, we know what you meant.
Okay.
Sharing with your buddies. I get it.
Right. Ask about
so if I transition this to
I think Hector speaks for us all here. We can move on from that one.
I know you guys saw the Borderland trailer. Did you see the Boy Kills World trailer?
Yes.
That was cool. I'm into
Once
it.
John H. Benjamin voice popped up, I was like, well, I'm in.
It was like I needed to kind of create a voice for myself, a unique voice. So he used one from a video game.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
I told you about the time I saw him at Comic-Con, right? He was like standing in a crowd just hanging out, and I walked past him and I was like, hey man, big fan. And he was like, hey, thank you. And I was like,
I think the first year we saw him there was when he was promoting what is it?
Bob's Burger?
No, before that.
John H. He has a van.
Has a van, which is I think still is the best thing he's ever done.
Oh man, I have to say, I'm not a scholar of his work, so I'm sure there are better things. So I won't say best, but my absolute favorite is the talking can of beans and Wet Hot American Summer. I just don't know what it is about that. It fucking makes me laugh all the time.
Well, that's the steak guys, man. Those guys,
Yeah.
they understand funny.
It's just you guys have seen that a million times, right?
Yeah, June.
It's just so funny to me that that's a thing that by the time you get to it in the thing, you just buy it. You don't even they don't spend a second on it, and you don't really think about it.
Yeah,
But there's a talking can of soup there, or whatever it is.
And Chris Maloney gets back with his wife when he looks over at the can, and the can just kind of like.
Anyway, Wet Hot American Summer available on Netflix. Sounds like it's endorsed by the Dork Court.
Didn't they do like a TV show about it too?
They did a prequel and a sequel.
They did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing that slays me about all three of those things is that Paul Rudd and the main girl, not Elizabeth Banks. Not her,
the other, yes.
The brunette girl is like Melissa something. The two of them have not aged a minute. Like you're like, what the actual fuck? Like if you put them in the same, if you did giant close-ups in 4K, of course, right?
Yeah.
But like medium shots of those characters in the same costumes, it's like it doesn't take a minute to go, yeah, of course this is the day before. But it's 15 years later and all the actors show up improbably because they had such a blast doing it. Have you read about the production of that?
Yeah.
No.
It's wild.
They're crazy.
We don't have to spend all the time on it, but the best story is they had to live there because there wasn't anything around. So they just basically shot in the afternoon and, just hung out at night, drinking beers, and, Paul Rudd would get the pickup and go into town. But the best thing was it was such a, independent production that they had to stop shooting for a week because somebody had pre-rented the place for a bar mitzvah.
They had to move out, and that's.
I don't know. I don't even know what they did. I only heard the press about it, so they just kind of end this story there. But I'm like, well, that's funny.
There was a documentary of all behind-the-scenes footage that was on Netflix for like maybe 20 minutes. It was like a half hour long, and they had 8 hours of footage. And that was all they were legally allowed to show, those 30 minutes. Because it rained also. They had to push like a month, and it rained for 26 days or something like that. So you have some like the best comedic minds of their generation all trapped in a camp together, just
figuring out the funniest thing. Yeah. And then when they finally get the film, well, that's that doesn't shock me because I'm still blown away that like how kind of similar theme, but like how am I now finding out like the Wampa was supposed to be like a super important villain in the whole Empire Strikes Back, and then they just scrapped that whole thing? Am I like,
it wasn't that big, but yeah, it had a little story.
It was supposed to have a way larger backstory, though. Wasn't it?
Yeah. The Wampa was like going into the Rebel base, and 3PO and R2 had a little side quest about.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, getting clues and like revealing that they thought all the destruction was either internal sabotage or a lone Imperial guy, and it was just these mad Wampas. And they filmed some of it. There's lots of behind the scenes stuff.
That's what I mean. I think I saw something the other day. I was just like, how am I seeing something of a movie that came out 40? Like, how have I not seen everything?
Yeah. I have that. If it makes you feel better, I have that feeling too.
Okay.
I actually had a real world conversation. You guys know Hibbs, right? Walker and I went into Comics Experience, and he was telling me, as I said, hey, what's going on? He's like, I just interviewed like the coolest guy I've ever interviewed. And I'm like, well, that's bold words because, I was here from 95 to 2000. Right. I saw you interviewing a lot of cool people. And then we talked about Neil Gaiman. Adam, there's a funny Adam Beechin story. Adam never drinks, and he was like behind the counter at one of the parties, and he was kind of sloshed on the special punch because he didn't know it was laced with grain alcohol. And Neil and one of his buddies come walking in, and it's nighttime, and he's got the glasses on and the leather jacket because it's 1995, Neil. And Adam goes, "Who's this poser that thinks he's Neil Gaiman?" And everybody's quiet, and Neil just goes, "No, I'm Neil Gaiman, whatever he does." And Adam won't talk about that to this day. There's a scar on his soul where that was. It's like
Might
That's
do that.
why you're not supposed to drink, man, because shit like that happens. Anyway, I was talking to him. This is all about like how have we not seen everything? This is how my brain is. So I appreciate your forbearance. I say to him, so what's been going on? I interviewed this cool guy, and he says, you guys would probably know. It's like My PP or something. Some famous architectural guy that does outside art installments, and he covered Alcatraz and something and did cool.
Oh,
like,
wee.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And plus, that's a pretty funny name. So I was kind of like riffing on that one. And he's looking at me dead seriously. I can't tell if he's joking or what. And I'm like, well, man, I don't know. I'm like, international art installations isn't really my area of expertise. And he goes, I'm really, really surprised you don't know that. And I'm like, man, I just read something about The Prisoner that I didn't know. And I'm a pretty well informed enthusiast in that area,
Yeah, like
So-
that's 50 years old, and how you're still finding stuff about The Prisoner. Just exactly.
So Mark, join me with Steve's like existential pain. The guy has like 58 tetrabytes of everything ever made, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Like, if Steve is having that thought, there's no hope for any of us.
Well, listen, I am still to this day fascinated that there can be a trailer or someone references a movie that I am like, I know I'm not an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
But I feel like
a Wikipedia.
I feel like I know most things, and most
things don't get under your radar or over your radar.
I feel like I know most things, Steve.
But like when it comes to when it comes to movies, like you spend a long enough time in a video store, and especially if you're like a traveling video store person, which I was, which means every store's inventory had different things.
Right. You knew everybody's.
So you would slowly realize, like, you knew the best science fiction section, the cult section. So it's really tough for there to be stuff that I'm still not aware of. And then when stuff pops up and you're just like, wait, what? You have to like explain this to me. I don't understand. So it's like Star Wars. Like, how is there still footage of shit that I haven't seen? Like, I've seen Star Wars a billion times. I've seen every version of it. I feel like I've seen every cut scene that's supposedly cut, behind the scenes stuff that they've attached to stuff, every documentary that they've talked about. And then they're like, I think I don't know who referenced it before, but there was like, the ripping of the danger sign. I've seen that footage of the C-3PO thing, but then I didn't realize that there was even more footage. It was like almost 3 minutes of that stuff. And I'm just like, how is there this stuff? I don't know. It boggles my mind. Cause I'm like, when DVD was introduced, that was like one of the big things of DVD was like, we're going to add deleted scenes,
stuff.
and people's like heads exploded. Like,
I love that so much.
Right. It was like, wait, this DVD's $50 brand new. Yeah. But it has 1 minute and 18 seconds of behind the scenes of deleted scenes you've never seen. And it's like, sign me up. I got it. Hey, $50, no problem. And people, it was, I remember all those beginning ones, like Stargate and like Terminator 2 and all those things. It was like, you either saw it in the theater or you saw it on TV. Little did you know that like James Cameron is like sitting on like a director's cut version for a million years. And he's got a handful of scenes that he didn't put in the movie,
That's the first one that really flipped my lid was Terminator 2, because it was I bought the one you're talking about, the steel and wrapped 3-disc thing. That's where we all learned that Linda Hamilton had a twin sister because of that cool shot of moving through the mirror. Dude, that blew my mind.
Oh yeah, old Sarah.
Sarah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of like one of those moments in times that you don't get to experience any again. Cause like DVD kind of like when DVD came out, it kind of really introduced like I don't know, it multiplied fandom on stuff because it was like, wow, I got the DVD. Now I get to know a little bit more about something,
What a big cultural, like dominating thing that only existed in our lives for like, 15 years?
Not even that long.
DVD? Well, you know what it is? Walker and I talk about this all the time because I'll tell him about, there's some cool thing. Oh, like we were talking about you guys will love this. In Escape from New York, the first scene that they shoot in Bart before the Bart was even open.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
supposed to be the transcontinental train, and they show what happens to Fresno Bob, and like, but it kind of softens Snake a little because he goes back for Fresno Bob.
Yeah, that's why
you
I get
start the movie that he's a giant pussy, and that's not going to work for 1981. You know?
Yeah, John
So I
Carpenter
see
wasn't
how
going to roll
they-
with that. Yeah,
I see how they didn't include that, but I loved seeing that on the DVD, and that's the one that got me into going, all right, I'll listen to director's commentary, because John Carpenter and Kurt Russell just start popping beers. They're like, here, all right, let's go, let's watch this. And I'm like, that's an excellent idea. And I just feel like I had the experience of watching Escape from New York, getting kind of buzzed with my buddies Kurt and Johnny C. You know, and that's not you. So I was telling Walker that, and I'm like, you can queue up whatever you fucking want to watch on YouTube right now, but just imagine it being a special treat.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what's wrong with the world, you know. And then I start thinking like, oh, it's my dad. Oh, I can't set the goddamn blinking 12. That's what's wrong with the world, you know. It's like whatever it is, it just slides a generation. But I meant from like a pop culture enjoyment thing that we enjoyed as boys. They just don't get that.
right. Well,
But-
yeah.
If you're
Everything
targeted
is out there.
Walker is, he's like, Daddy, you don't understand. I'm like, how do you get all these references, man? I know you haven't seen these movies. Like, you don't understand. I watched 30 years of Simpsons in 8 months during the coronavirus. And I'm like, okay, that's gonna be the whole like, oh, I saw, you know, whatever that nuclear thing was in 8th grade. It scared me for 3 years. You know, okay. You know, but I don't know. These guys are
Miracle Mile.
what they did during the coronavirus is going to be a very interesting touchstone to this generation.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, like the things that they indulged, like they caught up on and watched, and just
Whatever happened, you know,
Yeah.
like for me, it was listening to my mother about, you know, your father saw Jack Ruby get killed, like in Cleveland. Like, no, he was watching the news. That was live. And
It was live on TV.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I had a hungover and had to go cut granite when the Challenger blew up, right? And so people have these little touchstones. And I just think it's funny that Walker's kids, it's like 2.5 years.
Of like,
It's not like a
in our house.
special event.
Yeah.
It's just Blur's Day. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I remember that. You know, it's like the blip, actually. That's really interesting.
yeah.
Wow. I think that's a Dirt Court column right there.
Ready? I'm going to blow your mind. And I think,
accidentally did that, yeah.
Larry, I think you know this, but recently I just read I just did a lot of reading this week. So supposedly Feig was talking about how every movie in phase 2 of the Marvel movies is an homage to Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, everybody loses a hand.
Everybody loses a limb. Everyone
Yeah.
loses an arm. In every phase 2 movie, everyone loses an arm. It blew my mind because I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, yup. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's amazing. And they're all like, so that, like, it added to this element to me that it was, and we've had this conversation a million times where like you have to have someone with such a vision on what's going on, like Feig or like Filoni and like Favreau. Like you have to have someone that sits in that seat because you have to tell 6 different directors, no, I'm going to need you to have someone lose their arm in here because this is just what. But think about that. Like, if that's not has no plot point in your movie, but he somehow incorporates it into 6 movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, blew my mind. Like I said,
I think once you get the idea, right? Like, I just as a guy, Mark probably knows this. Once you get the idea, you're like, oh, okay, this is everybody else goes, oh, that's cool too. You know, and somebody just went, oh, why'd you cut off the arm again? You know, and it's like, oh, because this is Empire Strikes Back thing. And then that becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And people try to think of cool ways to do it. Mike, I got Walker on the chat right now.
Yeah,
There he is. What a time to be alive.
Is he sitting upstairs or is he?
No, he's sitting. I didn't realize that I actually meant I have him on our house chat and not the Dirt Court chat
Oh, he's both.
He's on both.
So he just said he finished his homework, watching painting vids for the next half hour till lacrosse practice starts. He's
painting vids.
Yeah, he's doing those minis. He started printing
Warhammer.
He started printing Clone Wars guys to test the fine scale of his print. It's like under 2 millimeters, which is pretty good. But if your scale is like 1.5 inches, it's like, the ridges show up. He got really good at figure painting really fast. So then he bought the Warhammer sets and he's going nuts. And the best thing is we should at the next dirt mall, he'll tell you, but he's actually better at painting with his fine brushes by hand, the decals and shoulder stuff for the ranks and military, than putting the decals on.
Putting the decals on?
Oh.
he's gonna
fucking bananas. He's like, no, that's too fiddly. I'm like, too fiddly than painting with a brush that has 3 bristles? He's like, yeah, and sometimes I don't put paint on all 3 of them. And I just don't have that visual acuity, much less the patience. It's amazing.
Well,
good job, Walker Young.
Nice.
There he is.
In the locker room waiting for practice to start. Jeez.
Hey, say hi to Taylor Swift, because doesn't every cool athlete get a hot girlfriend? Uh-oh. I'm not supposed to bring up that. Oh my God. That's the one subject I'm not supposed to bring up.
Oh, we'll delete it before we post this.
Yeah. Right. Fix it in post. That's a quick edit. We'll get Walker to edit it. Here, edit this dumb thing I said. He'll do it too. He's probably doing it now. Right.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, like he's fast.
Look at him.
Larry, not to steal what's the art on the table next to you, to the left of you?
I wonder if I should even reveal this, but I guess I can. Walker's doing
Is that Walker's? Okay, no, I want to see it.
No, he's doing this. You guys know about the angry girlfriend variant, right? The copy of Spider-Man 14.
Oh, yes, I do know that. Yes.
Shit's go to hell. I'm glad, I'm glad I can destroy whatever the fuck.
So anyway, he's doing a version of that for his.
We were talking about a film that he wants to do where one of the plot points is that somebody actually rips that in half. And so I'm doing a dummy prop for him.
Oh, nice.
And I filled it up with black and white scans of issue 14. The inside front cover says "Angry Girlfriend Movie Prop" in like 140 point.
That's awesome.
Just fills up the whole inside with 4 words. But the inside back cover is this guy Chance. He's like 33 now. It happened when he was 19. He finally like wrote it out on some collector's thing. He's like, "Hey, I'm Chance, and here's what happened," and it's bananas.
Oh, is it crazy? I only know it. I only know it's like one of the. Let's see if I can find it when it last sold.
Can I tell you the story? Because it took me a while to uncover it, and I did it for my kid, and I feel like I should share it with you. But he's 19 years old, and you guys remember being 19. Sometimes like weird shit gets in your brain. It gets it into his. He's a big comics collector. He has some good comics. This one and an Avengers #2.
Oh,
and
shit.
Somehow it's in his head that this represents how he's going to trust women. And so he gives these 2 girls each the copy. The girl who gets Avengers 2 is like, "Oh my God, I feel like we went through something together. I'm glad nothing happened to this. I'm happy to return this to you." And he's like, "You're awesome." And like, I kind of see it from the whole like, "I am Sir Lancelot and I need the holy," I kind of see it. Except when it goes wrong, he gave it to this other girl and she did that to it. Because of some misunderstanding, he asked her if she liked Scott better than him, and she's flipped out. And something happened because this is only his side of it. And
right.
Something happened where he ended up cutting off her hair in retaliation, and there was a court case. And it's mediated, and he's really sorry about everything. And they're adults now, and it's regrettable. And just want to put this out, and he's never going to talk about it again. And he's never saying who the girl is. And so I felt that needed to be on the inside back cover because on the off chance that I make it look really good, I'm going to have to print it. And if I print one, I probably need 5 because it's a movie prop. Like, you just rip it once? No, that's all right. If I print 5, I should probably print 25. And then we start getting into like, maybe that's not a good idea, Larry. But I did buy here's my backup in case I don't commit that crime. I did buy in 2008, Marvel reprinted it in a facsimile edition, except it says it's exactly the same, and the inside's in Spanish, but there's a little red slug that says Mexico above the UPC, that's just fine.
Huh.
And then so I'm basically getting what the girl wrote
off the cover,
off of this, and I'm
Yep.
fixing it and making
Yep.
sure Walker's okay, and then just probably print it on a piece of acetate or something, and then he has to show it around. Or maybe I can print it out and get like Kinko's to do a fake cover on something different. I don't know. But stay tuned. If I do commit copyright infringement, I probably won't be saying it in public. But it's really not, they can't get you for thought crimes yet, right? I thought that would be an interesting thing to see if I could cause to have happen. Yeah. I mean, John Byrne is fucking drawing new X-Men and selling the original art, and Marvel's not doing anything about it. So, like,
I mean, is he selling enough of it?
It's clearly. What do you mean enough of it? He's like
any of it.
Yeah, he's selling. Every page is like $1,000 to a fan, and he's on like volume 5 of this now. It's insane. It's like his retirement account, and like the shittier and crappier he gets, it's still a John Byrne Wolverine.
That's true.
You can tell what that is, And then Bob McLeod actually has a little side gig where if you care, he'll ink it for you. And so that's pretty cool. You have like John Byrne pencils and Bob Wyacek art on something that you own and has never seen print. That's kind of cool.
I did read that the guy that Wolverine is based after just passed away.
Yeah, the guy from Slapshot. I saw that picture of him and I was like,
oh yeah,
that's right. I totally see that. Somebody could have urban legend that up, and I would believe that hook, line, and sinker. He looks exactly how Byrne kind of would. I mean, I can see where Dave Cockrum, his original thing, like turned into that guy. When in John Byrne, I'm just pointing at it like you can see here this black and white one. That's
wow, yeah, totally.
That's the picture, right?
I was like, I read that the other day. I was like, oh shit, that's what's his name from Slapshot. I don't remember his name, but I was like, oh,
it's the coach of the penalty box.
You feel shame. They pack their toys.
That movie, I got to watch that again.
I love that movie so much.
I haven't seen that in a while.
It's beyond awesome. I have that on DVD if you'd like to borrow it.
I'm sure I have a copy of it.
I'm sure you have 3.
I wonder if now that's a great one. Does that have deleted scenes?
That movie's crazy because my memory of it is way more action packed than it really is.
Oh, exactly.
I was like, hey Walker, let's check out this awesome fucking flick that there's 10 minutes of action. And then the rest of it's like 1970s relationship, drunk and crying with cigarettes. It's like, well, every once in a while I'll hit him with a movie. Like I did this with Airplane. I'm like, dude, that's my bad. That's me thinking you're further ahead in comedy and narrative and stuff than you are. It's like, no shade on you. And then it became like a joke in our house. Like, what was I thinking? Showing him a movie from 1980 where you have to have a frame of reference that he didn't have yet because the coronavirus hadn't happened, and now he does.
Yeah, exactly.
He assimilated. He is the AI that has been trained on Simpsons. But that's what makes the meat brain better than the digital brain, because he did all that and is coming up with cool shit on his own. And AI, you can do all that, and it just comes out with yellow-skinned people saying.
Well,
funny
you
shit.
still need to prompt it to do something.
Yeah.
It can be that, but you still have to squeeze the juice out of the lemon. So that's it has it all there. It just won't. It doesn't have any ability to have it come out. So
Squeeze the juice.
Prompt engineering. That's the.
Have you guys been, Mark? Have you heard about Sora? I'm sure Steve has. Steve's like, yeah, I heard about that last year, man.
No, dude, go on, go talk about it.
No, it's just my buddy Don Cameron, who was assistant for Howard Chaykin. He's he worked on Cyberella, if you remember that. Don drew that the Helix book for DC when it was called The Matrix for a hot second, and then the Wachowskis were like, no. you heard about our cool screenplay, and you trying to get out with the Matrix? No, that's not going to work.
Was there ever a She versus Cyberella? That's my brain.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Let me see. Cyberella.
I think it was probably if there was a She versus somebody, it was a Cybele or something, like that. But Cyberella was a book for DC. Anyway, Don, he worked on the Bob's Burgers movie, Mark. So he said he was talking about Sora though, because it's an animation thing. He had some friend who did a 3D model, and then they did like 60 seconds of movement before and after a thing by just going jump. And so it's like a 3D model that bends down and jumps in the air and comes back down.
Jesus.
That like you did nothing except just input the 3D model. And like that, even a schmo like me goes, yeah, okay. Like I'm not gonna like crowd scenes, but I will sit there and learn that app so I can make an Astronauts in Trouble sizzle reel. You know what I mean?
I told you this shit is moving so fast, guys. It's like
I saw an app. This is an app I saw with my own eyes to take line art and make, a photorealistic, extrapolate what a photorealistic thing would be. It's in 2D, but then that's a simple thing to go, okay, do that from the side now. And then now take those two files and give me a 3D thing. And then I have to do 2 extra steps to make a movie. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then everybody looks like Charlie Adler drew it, right?
And then, oh, by the way, hey, can you provide that so that I can 3D print that? Oh, okay, here's your toy.
Well, I would do that first with the suits, so I could, as I'm learning this other thing, I would personally feel comfortable.
You'd be living the character before you make the character.
Yeah. The finger issue has been slowly getting better and better and better. So,
yeah.
But sure I'm telling you, man, it's getting there. It's crazy the stuff that's going on right now. Like the programs it's evolving really quick. I think the point is now, like everyone just wants the challenge right now is the databases and the companies that want to own the databases that the information is going into. So everyone's trying to own their own database. We'll call it that. That's the easiest way to explain it. So everyone wants to own the repository of all the information that it's getting, that the AI is learning from. And the problem is those are being manipulated in a way where the output is going to be, they're going to figure out a way where the output is, you're going to say, oh, this is using this tool, and oh, this is using this tool, and oh,
right, it's going to have some kind of digital fingerprint, right?
Right, and it's just, and it's not going to be the complete open source, that will come, because that's where it goes every time. It starts with this company owns this company owns this company owns this company owns this, and then someone figures out a way to say, oh, I'll just take all the information from all of them and just put it in this thing over here, and now it lives,
The problem is we're going to have Deathlock when that happens, right?
Oh, probably.
It's not even going to be Skynet. That's going to be charming. It's going to be like one robot assassin that just like everybody has to deal with.
What is it in Mission Impossible? The Entity?
Yeah, that was kind of freaky, huh? Coming out right when that they'd been working on that for a couple of years before it became like a widespread issue. So I'm like, man, those guys. McHugh is amazing. I love that guy.
Probably reading
Yeah.
the same shit I am. He's in the same group forums and all that shit that I'm in.
Yeah.
I maybe I'll try to figure out what his name is in those.
Steve's betraying his dark secret past.
Nah,
Yeah.
nothing.
Nah. Yeah. But all right, guys, I got to jump out for a meeting.
Oh, that's
All
right.
we
You got at a
we
meeting.
can wind this up. I have to actually.
Well,
I have
anyway.
some sea cabin related duties to attend to
Oh.
myself.
Well,
Excellent.
safe travels to Vegas. Glad I was
Yeah,
able to
thank
make
you.
it back. And Larry, I'll see you on for the Dune thing on Sunday.
That's this Sunday?
That is this Sunday.
Oh my
Hopefully
God,
you
this-
are around.
No, of course.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure it was this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm making
Yes.
sure I buy Mark his popcorn tub.
Walker is
Extra butter, buddy. Extra butter.
extra butter on.
I
that
might go
thing.
in. I might go in, buy it, and then put it in the car. So
I was
Just
hoping your
so
hat
just
would
to
arrive
really
in time, but-
entice the people who
Yeah.
Larry, did you see the hat that Mark got me?
I didn't.
Do you have it close by, Mark?
Oh, I hasn't arrived yet.
No. I know. Just the picture of it. I owe you whatever. Like, tell me what I owe you. I'll send you a Bitcoin or something. I don't know because it's worth that much.
No,
Oh
it's
my
fine.
God.
Oh, Bitcoin.
A Bitcoin.
All right, here we go. I could probably show this photo. Yeah, all right.
Dune 2. Oh my God.
Like, how do I
That's
know?
amazing. Where did you find that?
This is a printing company in the UK I follow that
Oh my
I just got all
God.
my weird random shit from.
That is hilarious.
And they did a pre-launch of it, and I sent it to Steve, and he was like, "Get that for me right now."
Oh man.
Well,
Wow.
that was worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gentlemen,
All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
It was a pleasure.
chat soon.
Okay, bye.